is so that we can take away that burden and bring some sanity and harmony into how we administer taxes. So from 1st of January 2026, the vast majority of Nigerians will see a drop in the taxes that they pay. If they are workers working as employees, they will see either zero tax because they have been completely exempted. That's for 1/3 of all workers, private and public sector combined. Or they will see a drop in the taxes they were paying previously. And that's for almost the remaining 2/3, except for the top 2%. In addition to that, the things they buy, particularly basic things like food, shelter, that's rent, transportation, education, and healthcare, they would also see a drop. The idea is that we want to enhance and increase the disposable income of the average Nigerian on one hand, and make the things they buy to be more affordable so their life can be more meaningful. In a way, also, that helps businesses to grow because if we all have a little bit more to spend, then businesses have a little bit more to sell.
All right, let's start with income.
Yes.
For salary earners, let's take that category. If I earned ₦1 million a month.
Good news for you. From next year, January, your PAY, we call it PAY, you pay as you earn tax. They deduct this on a monthly basis from your salary and pay you the net. So your net, if you earn ₦1 million, your net pay at the end of January would increase, even without any increase in your gross salary from your employer. You see good news like that?
You know what is interesting?
Yes.
That's not the narrative out there. No,
yeah, sadly.
Everyone with a ring light and a microphone has been saying one thing or the other. Yeah. So fact is, PAYE, I'm going to get more. I'm going to see more.
You're going to pay less pay less. And then you have more money in your account.
What if you earn 500,000 a month?
You also pay less PAYE, more money in your bank account.
Okay.
If you earn 1.5 million, you pay less tax, more money in your bank account.
2 million.
2 million, you pay less tax, more money in your account. In fact, it's from 2 million that you start to see marginal increases. If you earn 3 million naira a month, you'll see an increase in your tax, might be 10,000 or 20,000, small amount. Because the rate target is 1, exempt low-income earners completely. Reduce the tax for middle class, and then the high net worth individual. So if you earn 120 million naira a year, or you earn 1 billion naira a year, you see your tax will get up to 25%. But that's, in fact, that's the way it is everywhere.
Where does this 25% start from? Because that's what based on what you're saying right now, that's misinformation.
Yes.
They keep saying, oh, you're going to get paying 25% tax from next year. That is wrong.
That is wrong.
Or it depends on the category. That's what you're saying. At what point do you start paying? How much do I have to earn to be paying that 25%?
You have to earn about 240 million naira a year. That's like 20 million naira a month to pay 25%. You know, the problem is, and I think you said it, everybody with a ring light and a microphone is recording stuff about taxes. And taxes are not common knowledge. It's technical area. Yeah. So they go to the tax table. There's a tax table that says, this is the income band, and this is the tax you pay. And they just take that table literally as it is and say that is the amount of tax everybody will pay. But that's not how it works out.
So for me to be paying 25% tax, and that 25% is it?
We call it effective.
Is it at the end of the year? Is it every month?
It's every month. It's the same thing.
So 25% flat?
No. So it doesn't get to 25%. We call it effective tax rate.
Okay.
Before you get to 25, that feels like 25 flats. You have to earn about 240 million naira a year. That's about 20 million naira a month. If you earn anything less than that, if you earn 120 million naira a year, that's 10 million naira a month. You don't even get to 25%. Because part of your salary is taxed at 0%. Even at your 120 million, part of it is taxed at 15%. Part of it is taxed at 21%. And you get a lot of deductions as well. Pension contribution, national housing fund, mortgage interest, NHIS, all these deductions and reliefs are granted. So when you earn 120 million naira a year, your effective tax rate is less than 25%. So you see the reason why, and majority of Nigerians don't even earn 1 million naira a month. So these are the majority of the Nigerian people who see a drop in their PAYE and their take-home pay would increase.
Okay, so that's good for them. We're very happy for them.
No, it's good for us.
But the people who have been complaining are people who allegedly earn up to 200 and something million naira a year. And we have a lot of them online. Many of them are influencers,
Yeah.
And then it was also about the question of a regularization of our income. For many people, income is just, salary is there, but then you receive a lot of money. So that rumor out there, let's clear that up. The one where they say every money that passes through my account will be taxed.
Yeah. Okay, so I think, you raised two issues. Either you're an influencer or you're a high net worth individual and you earn, 20 million naira a month.
Yeah.
If you don't pay tax, we're supposed to pay it. We won't have a country, right? That 25% you pay at that level of 20 million naira income a month. If you were in Ghana, that would be 35%. If you were in South Africa, it would be 45%. If you were in Kenya, it would be 35%. So Nigeria's tax rate is not the highest. I'm not saying it should be.
But for everyone who earns at least 20 million naira a month,
yes,
they should know.
They should know
that this 25% is going to affect them.
And they are the high net worth individuals in our country. But the other good news for them, because overall, even these high net worth individuals will be better off under the new tax law from next year. You know how? People who earn 20 million naira a month are usually either they own businesses or they are top executives. So what's going to happen if you're an influencer, which means you own your business?
Or a brand ambassador.
Yeah, you can be anything. So you run your own business yourself. From next year, your businesses will get more reliefs, allowances, and credits, including lower tax rates. So what will happen is that your business would easily make 10 million naira more, and your tax will be 2 million naira more.
Okay.
So overall, you should even be very excited with the reform. So there's no category of Nigerian people who will be worse off under the new tax law. Except, of course, tax evaders. If they have to pay 1% and you never paid before, if they make you pay 1%, it feels like a new tax, right? Right. So the other thing is, people say any money that comes into your account, they will tax it. I don't know how they manage to come up with that level of misinformation. So just to be clear, there's nothing in the new tax law that says anything that goes to your bank account will be taxed. That would be against even the Constitution. Based on the Constitution and the new tax law, you tax income. So if you send money to me because it's a gift, or I have somebody abroad and they send me money to build a house for them, or just take care of everybody, grandma, people in school, those ones are not taxable.
So what is taxable?
What is taxable is your income. You earn a salary, and you're above the exemption threshold because there's an exemption where you don't pay at all. So if your salary is more than the exemption threshold, you pay tax based on your rate.
That the money that entered my account is salary, and this one is a gift.
Fantastic. So the law says you do self-assessment, which means you're supposed to tell government yourself that I have these 10 million in my bank account, but 9 million is a gift or is money for some other people, and 1 million is only my own portion of the income, and then you pay tax on the 1 million. That's what is in the law.
We all have to do this. How are we going to tell the government this?
Yeah, so if you work as an employee, your employer has a way of collating that information and giving it to the government. So at the end of the year, they'll probably just give you a link to the website where you fill in some other information, your address, where you live, or if you have any other income, and you're done. Something very simple like trying to buy airtime. If you are a bigger person,
We have to fill this form every month.
no, once a year.
Once a year.
Yes, there's a way the tax system helps you collect reliable information about your citizens that you can use for social intervention.
Well, that's another criticism that this new tax era is facing right now, which is, listen, you're trying to make it look like we are an advanced country. We are not. Don't be taxing me like I'm abroad. I'm not living like I'm abroad. I don't have basic amenities. I'm not living a very good life the way people abroad that you're taxing. At least those people, when they collect their taxes, they can see the tax working for them.
Yeah, good point. You know
but
what?
the base of the existence of the Nigerians is that your taxes, I've been paying taxes since I stay working, and I've been working since
same for me as well.
So, and then I keep wondering, okay, what did my taxes do if I'm still dealing with not having basic amenities?
Yeah. So I
still have a situation where people are on band A in this country. We're paying band A for that's 4 units per thousand, and still you don't have electricity for up to 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
So how can I trust you?
Good point. I'm just as concerned about this as you are, and as the ordinary Nigerian out there. So two things. One, they say don't copy the system in the abroad because you are taxing us and you're not providing anything. The place to even start that conversation is that in the abroad, they don't tax poverty. We have been taxing poverty. People are earning 50K and you're collecting salary from them. If you're in the UK, £13,000 a year, that's like almost, how much is that? 2 million naira a month. You don't pay tax. So at least if you don't agree with, taxing anybody at all, you should at least agree that we should exempt low-income earners and reduce the tax on middle class. So we've copied that. Nobody has complained about it. The other bit about I finished paying my taxes and I have to do everything government should be doing for me is a concern for all of us, including myself. This was a priority objective for the committee. People know us as a tax committee. We're actually a fiscal and tax because there's the bit about government spending, transparency, and government borrowing in addition to revenue. And we've done a lot of work, including sending proposals to the National Assembly to amend the Constitution to make transparency and accountability a requirement for so many things. I wouldn't come on TV and call out everything we're trying to do because I need to be clear about do I want the applause of the people or do I want the results? So the policymakers and the political leaders need to own that process. Once the legal framework has been provided, we can then collectively hold our politicians and leaders to account. If that's your side hustle is giving you less than 100 million naira a year, when the company that's hired you to do the work is paying you, they will no longer deduct money from it.
Okay.
Can you imagine that? They were deducting now.
Yeah.
They will no
because that's what happens now. They deduct
that's what happens now. So from January next year, if your income does not exceed 100 million, that's a small business, they will not deduct from you, right? But of course, you'd agree with me, which is why I keep going back to this. If you earn more than 100 million naira a year, why should they not deduct? The majority of people who are against the reform don't even earn anything close to that amount. That's number one. Number two is, when they pay you that amount, let's say it's £500,000 naira, there's nobody that will just go and take it from your bank account. What the law says is, at the end of the year, your salary at Channels, you already pay PAY on a monthly basis. At the end of the year, the law will now say, do you have any other income other than your salary? You say, yeah, I do side hustle, and during the year, I made 10 million naira. So on that 10 million naira, you disclose it. Did you have to spend anything in transport? You have to look good to be able to do what you do. All of those things, you take them out. And then if there's any extra profit that is left, you go to the tax table and say, for this range of income, what tax should I pay? And then you pay it. So we call it self-assessment.
Okay.
Right?
We'll have to go on a short break because you see that conversation around doing tax. We see it in movies, don't we?
Only in movies.
Where they say we have to work on our taxes. And you wonder, what are they working on in the taxes? That's the lifestyle that we have to incorporate, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Based on this. So we'll go on a short break. Please stay with us on Hard Copy. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Hard Copy on Channels Television. If you just joined us, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele joins us tonight, and we are talking taxes as we wrap up 2025. Thanks again for being with us on the program.
Thank you.
Okay, so yes, this new style where we have to now make sure that our income is noted. You have to take time to make sure you're not owing this. You have to categorize your income, knowing that you have to fill this form. It says once a year that we have to fill this form to explain to the government what it is that we're doing and how much money we're earning and how much of it is going out and how much of it can be taxed. How are you going to get Nigerians to do this?
Yeah. Interestingly, this is actually not a new requirement. It has always been in our law. Yeah, we're not doing it, right? We're not doing it. But what the new system is asking us to do is actually to our benefit. So, for example, if I'm a landlord and I let out my property and I collect rent, so people don't keep record of maintenance of the house, insurance, how much they pay the agent. So we have to develop that habit of just keeping records. And I'm not saying you hire an accountant. Some of it is just to snap something on your phone and keep it. Those expenses bring down your taxes because they are deductible. We call them deductible.
But to be clear, it's not everyone that will be required to fill out this form. It's a particular tax bracket?
Yeah, so only if you are someone who earns an income. That's like, if you're a student, nobody has to fill it.
Okay, so even when you're low, you're
even if you're a low income earner, you still have to say you have.
You still have to fill that form?
Yeah, because they won't know.
With what?
Right?
Low income earners, for those who are, and to be clear, you say they're not going to be taxed.
They're
right?
not going to be taxed.
But they do have to.
But for example, if we say you earn 80,000 naira a month and you have to be exempted, if you don't do anything, the system will not know that you earn 80,000 naira. Do you get? And they know you earn a salary, so you still have to say I earn 80,000 naira per month, and the system will say you have no tax to pay. And by the way, sometimes when people relocate abroad, this is one of the areas they struggle with the most. Yeah, because it's not a habit for us. And we know we're not at the same level as those developed countries, but let's do the most basic. And like I said, this will help us. It's not about collecting taxes. It's about making sure society is organized.
When we launch the system will not crash, Shabi.
No,
there will not be network problem. They'll tell you we cannot do this now.
No, but we actually have fantastic systems in Nigeria. There were days we used to go and take tally to withdraw money from our bank account, right? Today, millions and millions of Nigerians have bank accounts. I can't remember the last time I went to a bank physically. They don't crash. So we can build systems in Nigeria that don't crash. FRS had implemented tax programs for many years. It hasn't crashed. FCTRS has, Lagos has, and many other states as well have already. So we know that these things can get better, and that's exactly what we're working on to say, let's do things better in Nigeria.
Crypto earners.
The thing is, if you make money from crypto, currently, you pay tax only on your gains. Under the new law, you're allowed to deduct your losses. See, good news. Even for crypto earners, good news all over the whole thing. And if the amount you make from crypto is below the exemption threshold, you don't pay any tax at all.
Dollar earners.
So if you earn dollars, again, it will depend on how much you earn, because dollar just sounds like a big amount of money, but you could easily just earn $100 the whole year. So again, you earn dollars or pound sterling or euro, convert it to naira. Do you have any expenses in trying to earn that amount? Take it out. Whatever is left, go to the tax table. Okay, am I below the exemption threshold? Yes, you don't pay anything. If you're above it, you find the rate. We have a tax calculator, because it's not just as simple as going to the table and finding the rate. If you go to fiscalreforms.ng, fiscal is FISCA, fiscalreforms.ng, you find a calculator there where you can put the amount you earn. If you earn dollars, just convert it to naira. You know the exchange rate. Put the amount there because it only takes naira. It tells you if you need to pay tax at all or whether you're exempted. If you need to pay tax, it tells you how much you need to pay. So if I'm a content creator, or I'm a freelancer, or I'm a remote worker for some tech companies and they pay me $10,000 a month, that's cool money. Convert it to naira, find the tax you need to pay, and pay your tax. You convert it and you're below the exemption threshold, you have no taxes to pay. So the reality is that today, these small businesses pay all manner of taxes and levies. From January next year, those number of taxes will come down drastically and will continue to reduce. The Joint Revenue Board, that is the Association of Revenue Authorities across Nigeria. The new name is Joint Revenue Board. They had their meeting a few days ago and released a communique where it shows that even at the sub-national, at the state level, we now have tax harmonization law, trying to reduce even the tax at local government and state level, because you couldn't enact that at the center to dictate to them, it will be unconstitutional. But now they're enacting their own laws so that they can align with this new reform that says no more multiple taxation. So the biggest beneficiaries actually of this reform are low-income earners and small businesses.
There have been complaints about companies, not really adhering to what the rules are when it comes to withholding tax.
Yes. So withholding tax is if you render a service to a company, let's say your service is you just do events, organization for them. It could be that you have them manage their social media accounts or anything. So if that company is supposed to pay you 1 million naira, so there's a requirement that says, depending on the type of service you rendered, they should retain a percentage of your income. Let's say it's 10%. So instead of paying you 1 million naira, they pay you 900,000 naira. Pay 100,000 naira to the government and give you the receipts. That they call it advance payment of tax. What this new law has now done is from next year, if that person, earning that income, does not earn more than 100 million a year, that company should no longer deduct the withholding tax from there. I should just pay your 1 million complete, right? So in addition to that, we also have made provision for even when you earn more than 100 million, or you're in certain critical sectors like manufacturing, agri, even if the amount is $1 billion naira, the person paying you should not deduct any withholding tax.
How will he know what I'm earning? How does he know?
So the person will know sector first. So if you're in agri, you're in manufacturing, they won't need to ask you, they won't deduct.
Yeah.
But if you're in services, professional services, consulting, for example, they will then ask you. So they will ask you, are you a small business? One of the things we're trying to do is to see whether we can have some form of certificate, or because some companies are also very reluctant. This is one of the things they reported to us. I say I'm a small company and they still refuse.
Yeah.
They say we just have to deduct because we can't be explaining to the taxman, right? So we're mindful of that. So we're currently working on what is it that we can give to that small business person so they can present it to the person paying them so they won't have to pay withholding tax.
This is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. That's why we've been very busy working literally like 24 hours a day. And it's sad that we have to then dissipate a lot of that energy in fighting misinformation. We would have done more progress by now, including guidelines and regulation. But I'll be honest with you, I spend more than half of my time every day just on this misinformation. And we have a reform that was signed into law in June. We had 6 months to prepare, but we spent the bulk of that 6 months just dealing with the misinformation of they're going to debit your account, they will tax diaspora remittances, the grandma that retired will start paying taxes, anything that go to account, CBN will debit it. They just made up all of this stuff. And people can download a copy of the tax law from the website fiscalreform.ng. It's in searchable PDF, which means you can search it and find anything. They're written there black and white. Okay. So I think the more knowledge we have, the more we can take advantage of the law and benefit from it rather than just being afraid and fighting a reform that is designed to help us.
I think one of the biggest issues that you have to deal with is the reputation of this administration. Many people see this as the administration that wants to tax us to death.
Interestingly, we had some training for journalists, and I said to them, if anyone